Hello everyone and welcome to week 4 for SITHKOP004 Develop Menus for Special Dietary Requirements. This week we're going to start looking at some health-based diets. Now this week what we want to be able to do through this week's activities is be able to identify the dietary requirements of health-based diets, including sort of 5 biggest ones of vegan, vegetarian, children, weight loss and gluten-free diets. Identify and collect suitable foods and recipes that can be used to satisfy the needs of these customer groups, as well as create a seasonal, nutritious and balanced meal plan that satisfies the needs of the above health-based special dietary requirements. So this week I'm just going to look at those 4 major health-based diets currently that represent a large group of our customers, as well as the weekly tasks. So obviously there's a strong link between the way people feel and the food that they eat and the quality of their health. And it's important for us in the food service industry to understand those concerns and to be able to cater for them. We must be able to provide healthy, nutritious, well-presented and enjoyable food for everyone. So we'll start looking at some vegetarians to begin with. Obviously these make up a very large proportion of the special dietary customer groups. And there are many different types of vegetarians, included vegans in this area. So they're all classified depending on what they do and do not eat. So the first example of the lacto-ovo vegetarian. So it generally means that the prefix to it, the lacto-ovo, tells you what they will eat in addition to a vegetarian diet. So lacto is the shorten of lactose, so milk products, and ovo are eggs. So a lacto-ovo vegetarian will eat eggs, milk products, as well as everything else that a vegetarian will eat. So no meat, no flesh, but they will eat those dairy and egg products. A lacto-vegetarian will only eat the dairy products plus the usual vegetarian diet. And an ovo-vegetarian will eat egg products plus the vegetarian diet, but no meat or dairy products. Then there's a vegan, which is the strictest group of vegetarians. They will only consume plant-derived food. So that's no eggs, no milk products, cheese products, no seafood, no honey either. Okay? And then finally we have the semi-vegetarianism. When this is, sometimes they're called almost vegetarians, or sometimes they're called pescatarians because they'll eat a little bit of fish or a little bit of chicken, but majority of their diet will be vegetarian, or flexitarian, sometimes they're called as well. Now, with a gluten-free diet, the gluten-free diet is a diet that has become very popular recently, and for reasons which are fairly mixed. Now, for a very long time, celiacs, so that's someone who has a gluten intolerance, would have to be on a gluten-free diet. And dealing with celiacs is something I've got a lot of experience with. It can be a fairly genetic condition, and I have in my family, it's fairly strong. I have a few aunts, 2 aunts and 3 cousins who are all celiacs. So that is a medically diagnosed condition where they can't have any gluten in their diet. So in their diets, you need to be very, very careful because there is an amazing amount of wheat products, which is where gluten comes from, within a lot of processed food. So we need to be careful. Now, there's a lot of information on this slide, but this is more, I don't expect you to read this more as an indication that you need to be very careful and need to look at your theory notes to understand it properly. But there are a lot of wheat starches in a lot of different things that you don't think about. Now, obviously, there's the obvious ones, bread, pasta, noodles. But then there are some things as well, like some alcoholic drinks. So beer, stout, ale, Guinness, lager. A lot of those contain gluten. Now, there are a range of gluten-free beers available now in Australia, but most mainstream beers, they're made using wheat, so they have gluten. A lot of coffee substitutes have gluten in them as a drying starch. Obviously, breads and biscuits, a lot of them do. A lot of snacks have some non-maize, what they call wheat and cornstarch in them. So you need to be very careful. You need to be very careful when you do use cornstarch, because some cornstarch does have wheat in it. We need to check our labels. We need to read those ingredient labels on the back. A lot of cereal products will. A lot of processed fruits and vegetables will have those, and pie fillings are going to have what they call textured vegetable protein, which does have wheat products in it. Some dairy products, malted milk, ice creams. The ice cream cone obviously is going to have wheat products in it. So and a lot of small goods, processed meats need to have wheat products. So when you're looking at creating a gluten-free diet or gluten-free meal plan, my best advice is stick to natural products. Avoid using too much processed foods and condiments like soy sauce, because they will have gluten in it. So try to use those really seasonal, fresh products to create those meal plans. Now, with weight loss diets, so obviously it's quite common for people to be on weight loss diets. I know I've done it a few times in my life. But there are some just general rules we need to adhere to. Obviously, there's a lot of different contemporary diets, keto and the paleo diets, which bend the root. They have the concentrate on certain aspects of the health diet. But what we want to concentrate on is the more traditional calorie lowering diet, to consume less calories, therefore to lose weight. And so you need to avoid fatty foods rich in sugar, or food rich in fat. Things like coconut milk as well can be really bad, or add extra fats and oils, heavily processed foods. We want to keep nice fresh fruit and vegetables, using lean meats, low-fat dairy products, as well as foods that are high in fiber, wholemeal foods, like brown rice, bran, wholemeal couscous, those foods that have got a lot of fiber, that are very filling, but also have a lot of nutrients. And we need to be very careful about our methods of cookery. We want to think of the sort of methods that trap the nutrients in the food, but don't use a lot of oil. So we don't want to do any roasting or frying. We want to keep the steaming, baking, grilling, poaching, and boiling methods of cookery. Now, I've included food for children as one we want to talk about a little bit here, because some people have done children's menus in the past, and for good reason. A lot of different restaurants do offer children's menus, as well as these days it's quite common for children to go to a daycare centre which has a chef who caters, and I personally have children who go to a daycare centre with a chef who does all the catering. And so you need to think about, if you are going down this path, that the sort of food for children, we need to make sure is low in salt, low in sugar. We need to be very allergen aware. I know none of the food that's served at my children's daycare has any eggs or any nuts in it, because there is a lot of children with these nut allergies. You need to think about serving size as well, particularly when we come to create our standard recipe cards. A common mistake people make is, they're charging a lot of money for this children's food, and they're like, "Oh, chef, but that's how much it costs." I said, "Well, you've got your serving. They're trying to serve a 200-gram piece of chicken to a child. A child is only going to eat 50 to 60 grams of chicken, so we need to cut down our serving sizes a big way. We need to make it very healthy. You can do a menu for children if you did say, chicken nuggets and chips and sauces. Yeah, the kids are going to eat it, but the parents aren't going to be very happy about it. And it's the parents who are going to be paying for it, so you've got to make sure that it's healthy food. You're going to make the parents happy by serving healthy food, and you're going to make the children happy by serving delicious food. And the last thing is avoiding very strong flavors. No chili, no rich curries, no rich sauces. Little tummies can be a little bit delicate, so we need to make our menus reflect those sort of aspects. Now, in your weekly task this week, again, we've got some readings from the develop special dietary menus, and from prepare food for special dietary requirements. In our discussion, I want you to continue sharing meals. You can also continue with faith-based, but also the health-based diets as well. Start sharing some meals that have worked for, that either maybe has worked as a health-based diet for you, you've cooked it in industry, or you can start coming up and collating your own menu ideas for your meal plans. During the web conference this week, again, we're going to start working in small groups to evaluate meal plans using the meals we've talked about in the discussion. And for your homework and for keep working on your assessment, I want you to start creating the draft of your 3 health-based meal plans. Don't forget, you can choose your own health-based meal plans. You just need to tell me what they are. And you choose ones that are going to be useful to you, and start getting some feedback from your peers from them as well. So this week we've covered the health-based diet and our weekly tasks. Next week, the assessment task 1 is due, so your 6 meal plans will be due with its reflection. So we're going to do a lot of work on that for next week. As always, any questions you have, you can leave on the discussion board or you can email me. And I've also prepared, and there is a quiz for you to check your own knowledge and to get an understanding of what you've understood from this week's content. Good luck with your readings and with your meal plans, and I will see you in the webinar on Thursday night. Thank you very much.